Welcome to TV3 Sports presentation of high school football. Today's contest features the Governor Livingston Highlanders versus the Johnson Regional Crusaders. On an unusually mild November afternoon, the Highlanders of Johnson Regional have made the trip down to Nolan Field in Clark to take on Johnson Regional's Crusaders. Hi everybody, I'm Bob Parisi, along with me as usual the coach Bill Horry. Bill, we got a Mountain Division, Mountain Valley Conference matchup today. A couple of teams, Governor Livingston comes in here today 2-3-1, Johnson Regional 4-2, and these teams are very similar in a few different ways.
Well, this is a neighborhood brawl. You know, the fact that they're not at the top of their league doesn't mean very much. This is a big game. This game gets bragging rights for whichever team wins it. It's a big game for both teams.
Now, offensively, both teams are going to look to pound the ball down the other team's throat. They like to run the ball. Both teams like to run the ball. For Governor Livingston, their workhorse is going to be Steve Ritchell. Tell us a little bit about Steve.
Well, Steve Ritchell is just that. He's a workhorse. He's a tailback. He lines up behind the fullback in the I formation, and he'll get the ball 2/3 of the time. He's a tough, hard-nosed runner. Defensively, he plays middle linebacker, and that tells a little bit about him. You know, he's a hard-nosed kid, and he likes to run into people, and if they let him, why, he'll drag you along with him for 3 or 4 yards. He averages over 4 yards a try, and they've got to stop him first if they're going to win the game.
And speaking of hard-nosed fullbacks, the Johnson Crusaders have one of their own, Frank Metzel. This kid's a big kid, 240, and he likes to pound the ball down everybody's throat.
Yeah, he's 240. He's about 6'1", 6'2". He's a junior. He'll be back next year. He's a hard runner, the #1 man of the option, and as you know, they do run the option quite a bit. And he's the one they have to stop first, otherwise they never get to step 2 and step 3 of the option. That's step 1. They've got to stop him first if they're going to win a football game.
And I think the defenses are going to have their work cut out for them today, Bill.
It looks like it's going to be a real hard-nosed game. And, you know, we always talk about these skill players, you know, and how important they are in the ball game. But inevitably, the game develops into the team that's got the best, the most concentrating, the best offense and defensive line. The people in the trenches, they really win the ball game. We don't talk enough about them for whatever reason.
Well, we'll try and get to them during the telecast. As of right now, there's a nice crowd gathering on hand for the game. The teams are about ready. Bill and I are definitely ready. We're expecting a good one. We'll be right back with the coin toss and the opening kickoff after this.
Do you have any questions, comments, ideas, or concerns about any of the programs here on Suburban Cablevision TV3? Then we invite you to call the Suburban Cablevision TV3 viewer response line at area code 908-851-8521. We'd like to know what you think. You are watching Suburban Cablevision TV3.
Welcome back to Nolan Field in Clark, New Jersey for today's contest. Beautiful day today as we take a look at the reservoir, which is directly behind us. Just finished the national anthem. The two teams, there's a Crusader team, comes into this game at 4-2, and they're on the brink of possibly getting a playoff spot here this year, Bill.
Well, a lot of things have to happen before they get a playoff spot. I think next year both these teams are going to be ready for a run. Both these teams have got a lot of young people. You know, they had Senior Parents Day here today for Johnson Regional, and there were only 5 senior parents, and I asked the coach how come. He said, we only have 5 seniors. So it's a young team, and they're a coming team. They're getting better, so they should be ready.
And there's the opening kickoff. The Crusaders will take the kickoff, moving right to left. Joe Alefi, the man who received the kickoff, takes it all the way into Governor Livingston territory, down to the 32-yard line. before he's finally stopped.
He's stopped by Frank Menzel. Frank Menzel's that 6'1", 240-pound fullback that we spoke about. He's the one who caught him from behind. And it tells you a little bit about Frank Menzel.
Here's the starting lineup for Johnson Regional. On the line, we got Gozovic, Ives, Scuderi, DeLugos, and Radziniak. Backs and receivers were Sean Stovall, Frank Metzel, Joe Atanasio, Greg Layden, and Kevin Jurek is the tight end. Quarterback Dan Ludek back to pass. He's looking for Layden just off his hands. Nice coverage by Brian Rodano.
Nice coverage, but you know, he never did look back. At least I didn't see him looking back. Very close to a pass interference call.
There's a look at the junior quarterback, Dan Ludek, 5'8", 140. Dan's got a 45% completion percentage on the season this year, 1 TD.
Bob Taylor tells me that the pass is a vital part of his offense. You know, I notice he hasn't thrown too much, and I also have found that his quarterback, you know, Dan Ludek, has got a great arm. So that's going to come too.
Ludek gives the handoff to Metzel. He fumbles the ball but falls on top of it and ends up picking up about 5 yards in the process. So nice bounce there for Frank Metzel, and we'll get set to look at the Governor Livingston defense. Play a 4-4. Thomas, Shute, Kubarov, and Ferguson on the front four. The middle four, Pearson, Tristan Glino, Steve Ritchell, and Anthony Escoto. And in the backfield, Brian Rodano, Rich Moriarty, and Scott Reddy.
We just saw the first stage of the triple option.
And once again, Metzel goes straight up the middle.
And that's stage one again, you know, and if they can pick up 4 yards a try on stage one, you'll never see stage 2 or stage 3. Stage 2 is when he pulls it out, you know, and continues down the line or cuts upfield. Stage 3 is when he pitches out. We've only seen 2 plays, and both of them were stage 1. Now, if they can get away with just stage 1, why, there's less ball handling involved.
And here, this sets up a 4th down and about 2 yards for Johnson. And looked like Ludek kept the ball himself. He stuck it in for Metzel, pulled the ball back out, spun around the outside of that pile, and he appears to have enough for the 1st down, Bill.
You know, Bob, you have to know that Dan Ludek can do what he wants to once he sees a play there. He can pull it out or he can leave it in there. It's all up to him. He's a true reading quarterback, I understand. In other words, this option is not predetermined. When he pulled that ball out, that's what he felt he needed to do.
So Coach Taylor, with his first big call of the game, goes for it on 4th and 2, and it turns out to be the right call now. So 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line, and Ludek back to pass again. He's getting pressured. The pressure comes from the left side linebacker, Anthony Escoto, who drops Ludek for about a 6-yard loss.
Good play, good defensive play. Ludek never sees him coming, you know. He's concentrating on his receiver, and I just assume his primary receivers are covered. He never got an opportunity to look for his secondary receiver.
He didn't have a whole lot of time to set up back there, Bill. The pressure was on him right away.
No, he didn't, and maybe he should have rolled out a little bit. That looks like it was a play-action pass. He never got very much play action.
So this sets up a 2nd down, about 17. Ludek once again back to pass, looking in the direction of Greg Layden. He makes the catch. He will take it in for the touchdown. Nice combination there, Ludek to Greg Layden.
And Layden's caught 20 passes up to this point. This is his 21st reception. He's had 270 yards receiving. Now watch the good route and the good pass now.
Nice
he
pump
fakes,
fake.
he pump fakes, sure. He gets the defender to hesitate just a split second, and that's all that Layden needs, that split second. Goes by him, and the ball is right there. Great pass, great throw.
And Jason Hassler will come on for the point after for the Crusaders. There's the snap, the place, the kick is up, and it is good.
You know, you have to know that Ludek is a junior, and his receiver, Layden, is a junior.
There's the Johnson scoring drive, covers 6 plays, 34 yards. Layden on a 32-yard touchdown reception from Ludek. Just a nice play there, Bill.
Yes,
well-timed, and Brian Rodano bit on the pump fake.
Right, and he put the ball right where he had to, you know. And I understand that he is that kind of quarterback. Dan's getting better. You know, he's an 11th grader. He's getting better. Greg Layton has proved himself to be a good receiver, and he'll catch a lot more passes before he's finished.
Yeah, Layton does lead the team in receiving. He's got 20 receptions for 270 yards. That's a 13.5 yard per reception average so far this season. And nice numbers. And as we talked about in the open, that Johnson was going to look to smash mouth football, basically run the ball down their throats, and they come out scoring their first drive on a pass.
Well, you know, when I spoke to Bobby Taylor, he said, I asked him about the pass, and he tells me it's a vital part of their offense. He says they're new kids, new team, you know, and they just got to feel their way a little bit this year. As they get confidence, why they're going to do better things and do more passing, I feel sure.
We'll take a quick look now at the Governor Livingston offense.
Stopped at the 30-yard line.
Matt Wiggins, Tristan Glinos, Ed Del Niro, Asen Kubarov, and Rob Andrews are the front five. Backs and receivers, Mike Trombetta, Steve Ritchell, we talked about in the open, Brian Rodano, Anthony Piccarello, and Ryan Radican round out the receivers, and the quarterback is Paul Petrocoro. Hands off straight up the middle for Ritchell.
That's Ritchell with Mike Trombetta leading the way, and that's what they'd like to do. You know, they'd like to just run that tailback Ritchell. We spoke to him in the opening. He's a hard runner. You saw that. He only got about 2 yards, and then he pushed forward for another yard and a half. So he'll get you that extra yard and a half.
He did pick up about 4 on that carry, so it's up a 2nd and 6 here. 2nd and a long 6 for the Highlanders. Man in motion. Petrocoro is back to pass. He's under heavy pressure, and he's dropped for a loss. Big play there by the front 5 of Governor Livingston. Governor Livingston will run a 5-2 offense. Carmine Rossetti, Ray Radziniak, Tech Sun Kim, Jim DeLugos, and Nick DeCorso are the front 5. The backers are Guzovich and Matthias. Anthony Peters floats back and forth from the linebacker position into the secondary. And the rest of the secondary, Greg Layden, Joe Alefi, and Steve Cicatelli, who is the captain of this Crusader team. That sack recorded by Ray Radziniak. Nice play, and this sets up a long 3rd and 14. And running the option, Petrocoro will be pulled down in the backfield. Pressure coming from Nick DeCorso.
Well, you know, you can't permit penetration if you're going to run the option. You can't permit tackles to penetrate and make your quarterback belly, because when your quarterback bellies, the tailing back, the guy that's supposed to get the pitch, you know, he's going to be right next to the quarterback, and that's what happened that time. The quarterback, in order to avoid the tackle, well, he had to belly and he run right into the tail. But you can't run the option that way. The quarterback's got to stay tight on the line.
Punting will be Scott Reddy for Governor Livingston. He has a hard time getting it off, and they're just going to let this ball roll. Layden and Alefi were back for Johnson. They move away from the ball, and it's down at the Governor Livingston 49-yard line.
Well, that was a real good decision. Went unnoticed, I'm sure, by a lot of people. When that kicker kicked the ball, you know, a lot of them, when they panic back there, you know, the ball comes back on a bounce or something, they pick the ball up and they try to run with it or try to throw it or do something unusual and lose it down. He was smart. He stepped aside and kicked the ball and got up about 30 yards on that play. Kicker did it by himself. Was a good decision.
And here goes Rashawn Stovall around the outside. He's got one man to beat. He will not be caught down the sidelines. One play, 51-yard touchdown for Rashawn Stovall. Now Johnson takes a quick 13-0 lead.
Well, there's a little bit of what Rashawn Stovall has, and that's flat speed. He's a senior on that club, and I tell you, I saw him before the game. He seemed ready to play. I mean, he was just that loose. He had a big smile on his face, like he couldn't wait for kickoff time.
Well, he
showed it that time.
He couldn't wait to get his hands on the ball. The first time he touches the ball, he runs 51 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, and a good hard run, too. A lot of speed. turn the corner. There's a good block downfield. I wish I knew who threw that good block for him downfield.
And Hassler once again converts the point after, so Johnson scores one play, 51 yards.
Somebody,
Rashawn Stovall.
any way you get that back, because I'd like to see who it was that threw that good block on that halfback. I know that Rashawn would like to know who it was too. He'll buy him a hot dog or something tomorrow. Well, here we go. Let's see if we can pick out that fella downfield now. That made it all possible. Well, there it is. There it is. Right here. Right here. See? He holds off that fella.
Looks like number 3, Greg Layden, Bill.
Well, Greg Layden, you got a hot dog coming from you. Compliments of Rashawn Stovall.
And if Rashawn won't buy you the hot dog, come see the coach. He'll pay for it.
Right, anytime, anytime. Anybody that unselfish deserves at least a hot dog, my God.
There's the man who threw the big block, Bill. Yep. Greg Layden.
Yeah, those are the guys that, you know, nobody notices, nobody highlights. Layden, well, of course, he caught that pass for a touchdown, so he's a highlighted player to begin with.
So he's been involved in both sides of both scores so far for Johnson, and now
whoa,
stick on the D there. Joe Atanasio comes up with a big hit on the kickoff return.
Well, at this particular point, with just a little, well, halfway into the first period, I would say that Bobby Taylor has that Arthur L. Johnson regional team ready to play today, I'll tell you.
Governor Livingston will start this possession at their own 21. Trailing now 14-0, and they gotta, last time they went 3 and out, Bill, 4 and out. They have to do something this time.
Well, they're a better team than you know what they showed.
And there's Richel straight up the middle. He gets about 2.
But you know what's tough when momentum is going against you, and that's what's happening now for that Livingston team. Big Mo is on the other side, and somebody's got to step up and say, hey, let's turn it around. That's hard to do. It's a lot easier to go with the tide, you know.
Richel's got 85 carries on the season, 365 yards. He leads the team in touchdowns with 5, and it's a 4.3 yard per carry average. And he gets the ball again. This time bounces around the right outside end. Good for about 3.
Well, it's hard from panic time, you know. There's a good off-tackle play, and you see some good blocks in the line. Nobody just blocked number 21, who came up, Anthony Peters, came up from the secondary and made a great stick, but it's still early. There's still plenty of time, and like I say, Big Mo is going the other way. Somebody's got to turn it around. That's a character of a football team, I've found, from my experience.
Petricora back to pass this time. He looks to his right for Anthony Piccarello. The pass is complete. Good enough for a first down as Piccarello is finally pushed out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
Very nice throw. He fired that ball. Looked like on a clothesline, wasn't it? Paul's a 10th grader, you know. He's got 2 more years to go, and he's got a great future, I think, as a quarterback. He's a small fella. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get bigger, he's going to get stronger, and most important, he's going to get smarter.
And that was an excellent pass that he just threw.
Right. I set right now, 2 tight ends, pitch out right.
This time it goes to Trombetta. Trombetta looking for some room, and there's a flag on the play as the Johnson Crusader defensive line strung it out. Carries good for about 2 yards, but let's see who the flag is on. The Johnson players are saying it's against Governor Livingston. I haven't seen it.
Usually is. Usually a pass that usually penalize the offensive team, especially on a play that develops into, you know, kind of a pitch out. Somebody comes down and clips somebody. Somebody will hold somebody.
We'll take a look at the officials for today's game. The referee is Walt Omak, the umpire Bob Longardo, the line judge Well, we're set to go back to the action. Petricora back again to pass now. Once again, first down because of the penalty. Petricora is going to run with it himself. He's got some room. Nice move. He gets almost all the way back to the original line of scrimmage.
Great run by Paul. And like I said, he's a 10th grader. Of course, he's running for his life here, you know. He's 135 pounds. He's 5'5". A lot of big people on that defense, you know. Teague Sun Kim's 220. Ray Redzniak, 250. Jim DeLugage, he's 190. He's running away from those people, you know. He's got to be running scared. I would.
And Rossetti and DeLugos had pressure on Petricora that time. Now we got 2nd and 10. Petricora again back to pass. Fires across to Ritchell. The pass is incomplete.
Not a bad throw. Not a bad throw. Good defensive play.
Jose Matias was there on the defense.
Jose is a 10th grader also. You know, this field is just cluttered with sophomores and juniors.
Johnson's only got, as you mentioned earlier, Bill, there's only 5 seniors on this team. They all do start either offensively or defensively.
Well, he's got to put 3 on the field now.
And Governor Livingston, there you see their last victory versus Johnson, 21-0 in 1989. So on 3rd down,
he's in a passing formation. I'd be surprised if he didn't throw the ball.
He's got 3rd and 10, and Petricora back to pass again. Once again under heavy pressure. Looked like Nick DiCorso, the man who got to him first.
Most difficult thing, you know, is throwing the ball when people know you're going to have to throw the ball. That's tough. That's tough. You don't want to throw the ball under those conditions. You want to throw the ball when you know, when they don't think you're going to throw the ball. 1st and 10, you know. 2nd and 3. That's the time, I think, that if you're going to do anything with your pass offense, that's the time to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get discouraged.
And Alefi and Layden back to receive the punt. Layden, the man who's going to take it, and he gets clobbered as soon as he touches the ball.
Well, it looked like he got clobbered, but he dove right over him. He just touched him. He really didn't clobber him.
The man there was Anton Kempson. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage, Bill. We'll see what that's about.
Well, let's see who they clobbered. Maybe they clobbered the kicker. If they clobbered the kicker, then they're going to get the ball right back. And they're moving the ball up, so that's what they probably did. I don't know, did we get a shot of the guy kicking the ball that time?
It is there.
What a great camera crew we have. Whoop, there it is. He run right into him. He didn't try to stand up, but he did run into him, and the call was a fine call.
Once again, Bill, you were right on the mark with that call before you even saw it.
Well, it had to be. If they're moving the ball up 15 yards, that's what it had to be. Now in their I formation, this is what they like to run. And this is where they like to run the fullback lead, pitch out to the tailback.
There goes Ritchell with the ball, and looks like he'll get about 2 yards on that carry.
You know, Arthur Johnson changes their defense so much, you know, depending on the offensive set. It's hard to find out where those defensive people are going to be. And if you're a blocker, you know, you're on that offensive line and you've got somebody to block, one of the linebackers, all of a sudden he's not there, you know. So they move around considerably. Bobby Taylor is a sly fox, I'll tell you that. I know that, having coached against him. He's a tough man to coach against.
2nd down and 8 here, and Petricora back again to pass. Looking downfield. Pass is just a little bit overthrown.
You can't fault Paul on that play, because I think what happened was he saw the coverage was very good short, and now if his receiver would have just continued downfield, he might have had a shot at it, but his receiver evidently gave up on the play. Receiver's got to come back for the ball or cut for the ball. He can't just give it. He just can't stay there, you know. Once he sees that he's drawing double coverage, he's got to do something. He's got to cut inside, cut outside, come back, or sprint downfield. If he would have sprinted downfield, he might have had a shot.
So this sets up a 3rd down and about
3rd
8
and
yards
long,
here.
3rd and long, and here's
flag
a flag
on the play. Petricora setting up the middle screen for Ritchell, and he's dropped for a loss.
He didn't fool Jose Matias. Jose Matias like a fox, you know. He just sit there and wait.
And one of the Johnson players is down on the field.
Illegal motion by the offense, so they're probably going to use up that down because he didn't gain anything. They're going to disregard the down and make it fourth down, I guess.
We'll see. You can't get a number. I can't get a number on the young man who's on the field, Bill, but
I don't see number 42 is there. Matias is there, so the fellow that made the stick, it wasn't him. Probably somebody that got caught underneath the pile.
There it is at the end of the play, Bill. We can see it. It looks to be number 67, Tech-Sun Kim, who's the man down on the field.
I tell you, they don't want to lose him. He's a good, tough, hard-nosed linebacker. He covers a lot of ground inside. He's a guy that's been giving Richel all his problems, you know. He's been filling holes all afternoon.
And Nolan Field just happens to sit right next to the Clark Municipal buildings where the fire department's located, and apparently there's a fire in Westfield, or Clark. They're still checking out Tech-Sun. Maybe we can take a look at the municipal building, which is right next to us.
Sure have got a loud alarm, haven't they?
Let's do a promotion for Time In right now. Every Monday night, live at 6:30, hosted by Paul Spahala, you can see the newest top 10 football list in our area. We have a high school football preview coming up this Monday, plus the National Over 30 Baseball Championship, and we'll talk about Golden Gloves boxing. That's Time In, Mondays at 6:30 with Paul Spahala.
Well, Teak is being helped off the field, but he doesn't look too bad. He's trying to shake that leg. He may just have a cramp in it. We're going to find out soon. But like I say, if he can't play, they're going to miss him. He's a good football player.
Yeah,
Looks like he got stepped on, maybe. His instep, he's rubbing.
He's a junior, 6 foot, 220 pounds. So that's a big kid right there anchoring the middle of that front five for the Johnson's defense. Now fourth down once again. Ready will punt.
Nice high kick.
Layden will take the punt at his own 20-yard line. Not much room to move around back there this time.
Tackle by Ferguson.
Tackle made by John Ferguson.
That time Layden didn't make a key block. He didn't catch a ball and run for a touchdown, did he? Here's Bobby Taylor. You know, he's got that worried look on his face.
21 years as a head coach. His overall record very impressive at 133, 59, and 6. He coached for 19 years at Brewerly before coming here last year to take over as the head coach of Arthur L. Johnson Regional High School.
He's one of the classics, you know. He's a great coach. He's not a good coach. He's a great coach. More important than that, he's a great gentleman. He's the kind of person that my grandchildren, who don't happen to live in this area, I'd be so pleased if they could play for a guy like Bobby Taylor. I'd be so pleased.
Frank Metzel on the year so far, 86 carries, 423 yards. And that ends the first quarter with Johnson on top, 14-0. When we come back, Johnson will have the ball second and about 6 from their own 26. We'll be back right after this.
Crossing the street, driving a car, or even eating a meal. These are some common abilities that many of us take for granted every day. Join us as we explore, along with the Kessler Institute, issues that affect the physically disabled in our area. Tune in for Abilities, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
Okay, now we're back. Nolan Field, Bob Taylor's Johnson Crusaders on top of the Governor Livingston Highlanders, 14-0. Good first half played by Johnson, Bill.
Yeah, you know, I was talking about Bobby Taylor, and I said some nice things, but really not enough. He's such a great person. Kids that play for him, when they get done playing for him, they're better people.
Not only did you have a chance to coach against him, but he also, as you mentioned to me, he was one of your coaches. As this pass is intercepted by Rich Moriarty. So Dan Ludak tried to squeeze one in there, and he got burned by Rich Moriarty. Comes up with a big interception, and this could be one of the sparks right now that Governor Livingston needs to get going.
Yeah, it looked like a little old curl fly pattern where one guy curls in front of the halfback and the other fella takes off. In any case, number 32 played it well, didn't he? Played it well, came up with the football, jumped in just in time. That's Rich Moriarty. Made a great play.
And the ball is moved back into Governor Livingston territory now. There was a clip called on the run back. So Governor Livingston will, as we get a chance to look at the first quarter stats, Governor Livingston 18 rushing yards, 11 passing yards. Leading in first downs 2-1, even though they trailed in this game 14-0, but Johnson scored on one big play.
Well, this may be what Governor Livingston needs, you know. A little break in their direction, but...
And here's Richel with that carry. A nice spin to move off a right tackle. Good for about a yard or two.
You know, the first thing we said, you know, one of the first things we said was the fact that, you know, we can talk about these specialty people and these stars and the people that get all the ink, but the game's won by the people up front. Lugash and DeCorso and Rezniak and Rossetti and Teak when he was playing, you know. For whatever reason, those people never get highlight, but they do all the work. They did on that play, didn't they?
Yeah, they sure did. As I was mentioning before, Bill, before that interception, as you had said, you coached against Bob Taylor, but he also was a member of your coaching staff in the North-South game.
Yeah, that was the first North-South game, and it took place, geez, I forgot, maybe 15 years ago.
Steve Richel again going outside off the right side. Good enough for the first down. He just did get a first down there.
Well, Steve Richel shows why he deserved being talked about in the pregame. You see him lower his head and get that extra 2 yards.
Right there, you see he's got, for the game so far, 6 carries for 21 yards, and he gets the ball again straight up the middle. Good for about 2 or 3. So, like
you need some help though, Bob. You know, somebody's got to blast open some holes. He's running into a mess of dark jerseys now. Now you watch. He runs into a, right here, you know. Nobody's been really moved, maybe nudged a little bit. Nobody's been moved. He needs a little help by those people up front.
Right now, he's earning all the yards that he gets right now.
But he's able to run off tackle, for example, but it's hard to run inside. Now here he goes off tackle.
There again. 2nd and 7.
Slip move, and he's a good runner.
Richel did get to turn the corner, and he carries this ball down to about the 26-yard line. Once again, good enough for a Governor Livingston first down.
Well, he's the guy you're looking for. Remember I talked about Big Mo being on the side of Arthur L. Johnson? Well, Big Mo has just turned around now. He's playing the other way now. He's on the Governor Livingston offense. And that's because of Steve Richel. He's the one that turned him around, and that's a hard thing to do, you know. It's easy to go with the tide.
Somebody had to come up and start making some plays for Governor Livingston in order to get them back in the game, and it looks to be their workhorse, Steve Richel, is the one who wants that burden right now, Bill.
Yep, he's running well.
This time the pitch goes to Mike Trombetta, and he'll go outside off right tackle. Looks like going outside off the right tackle, right end position is where Governor Livingston is getting to move the ball right now, Bill.
Yeah, either they're getting the good blocking there by Asen Kobarov and Bob Andrews. Evidently they're doing a good job in there. They're moving people out. They're sealing in, and then somebody's kicking out on the defensive end, and they're giving Trombetta and Richel good room to run. He's set right, high formation, set back to the right side. Here he goes.
Trombetta again on the carry. He breaks a tackle at the line and is able to bounce off the right side again. He's going to be close to that first down, possibly about a yard short.
Well, there's a good example of not wrapping up a good tailback. You know, Mike Trombetta isn't going to go down if you grab him around the waist. You got to stick a shoulder in there and drive backwards.
And there you see a stat that Johnson has been outscored by its opponents 46-19 in the second quarter this year.
Well, Mike's trying 3rd and 1 now. They got to get this first down now. You know, if it was me, I'd do something stupid like put the ball up in the air, but it's not me. Maybe that's why I'm here.
And this
There he
handoff goes
goes.
straight
He
up
found a
the
little
middle.
room inside that time. Steve found a little room inside. He blasted through, found a little running room.
He's able to carry the ball down inside the 10-yard line.
Good block by El Dinero,
Inside the Crusader 10.
Asen Kobarov, Tristan Glinos. Those three
Trombetta,
fella gave him room.
Trombetta just did not stop moving on that carry. 3 carries, 17 yards so far today, and we have another man down for Johnson on the play. And
You know, Mike's only 175 pounds. He's 5'9", but he runs so close to the ground. You know, he's 5'9", but he runs like 5'1". His body is extended, and it's hard to find his legs.
Bill, I can't tell who the man who is down is, but by looking at the rest of the players in the Johnson huddle, it is number 60, Bill Ives, who was the replacement for number 67, Taek-Sun Kim. So now this is the second man playing that nose tackle position for Johnson, who's gone down. And you see Taek-Sun Kim is on the sidelines. He just put his shoe back on. He's moving around.
Let's see, where is Tex now?
He's right here.
Yeah, he's trying to get that ankle limbered up. I think it was his ankle. I don't know. If it was stepped on, he'll be fine. You know, if he turned it, it's still warm, and he looks like he's walking pretty fair.
Yeah, he does. And
He
Joe
won't go-
Hubert.
Yeah, he won't go back. He won't go back unless he's 100%. I'll tell you.
Run inside the 10.
Bobby Taylor won't sacrifice a boy just to play him. He'll make sure that he's well enough to defend himself.
But he did get his shoe back on. It's a good sign. They had ice on his ankle
Yeah,
on
he's
the
moving around,
sidelines.
but he's shaking his ankle like it's like somebody stepped on it, you know. I'd like to see him, you know. If it were me, I'd say, hey, jog a few steps, see what you look like. Maybe he's just a polite boy, you know, and he doesn't want to bother the coach and say, Coach, I'm all right. Some kids that can get right in your face, hey, Coach, I'm all right, let me in. He may not just be one of those kind of kids, you know.
And there's the young man who was just down on the play, Bill Ives. He's back on the sidelines getting some water. He looks to be okay. Limping just a little bit there, but Governor Livingston doing a good job of moving the ball here. They are down inside the 10-yard line now. The ball rests at about the 7. And they have their first big chance of the game, Bill, to try and cut into this Johnson lead.
Well, they get 4 tries, but, you know, they got the defense bunched up, so it's not as easy as it looks. You know, the defense just doesn't have that much ground to defend anymore. They got the 7 yards onto the goal line, and then they got the extra 10 yards. That's it. It's not like they got to defend the entire field. So it gets a little tough in here, especially when you're trying to run the ball.
And here goes Steve Ritchell. He will be hit right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on the play.
Steve has 5 touchdowns. He has up to this game, has 365 yards. And, you know, there's no question, he's a tough, hard-running tailback. But in here, it takes a little more. You need a little room to run. You got 11 people coming up at you, and all of those 11 people are, for whatever reason, they're all angry, you know. They're all angry. They're like hornets. Now he's spread out the offense. That's a good idea, you know. Get some of those people away from the middle of the line. And now he hands off to him. Once again, he gets a couple yards.
He carries the ball down inside of the 5-yard line, just inside the 5. It's going to be 3rd and a long 4 for the touchdown.
Yeah, well, this is a key down. You know, every down's a key down, but
There was a nice formation that Governor Livingston came out in there, though, spreading things out a little bit. And there you see the total rushing yards on the day so far. Not much difference between the two schools. The big difference is the big play.
right. That was the difference. Big pass play and big run.
And here goes Richo bouncing around the outside. He's trying to get down to the goal line. He's going to be stopped short. Looks like he's taken down at about the 3-yard line.
Well, this is crunch time now.
Big decision for Joe Hubert and his Governor Livingston team.
Well, the only decision is whether or not he's going to put the ball up. And normally, you know, this kind of a situation.
Great play there by Anthony Peters, fighting off a blocker, and then Gray Layden coming around to help out.
Yeah, he did. He made a good play.
Now a timeout on the field.
Anthony is a strong side corner. You know, they get fancy with these defenses now. We used to have a right corner and a left corner and a right tackle and a left tackle and a right safety and a left safety. Now they've got stuff like strong side corner and weak side corner and strong side linebacker, weak side linebacker. I think if I were a kid, I wasn't too bright, you know, I'd get a little confused.
There you see the all-time series matchup here is led. First meeting was back in 1964 between these two teams, so it's a long rivalry that took some time off, and we're back again now, though, between these two teams. And
I could just see, you know, the team lining up with two tight ends in a full house backfield and the defense. Hey, wait a minute, you don't have a strong side and a weak side. No play, no fear.
So the 11th play of this drive on 4th and 3. The handoff goes once again to Steve Ritchell.
But he moved too fast.
Flag on the play. And
if he didn't get in, or if the movement took place before the snap.
Yes, it did.
Well, then they're going to bring the ball back whether he scored or didn't score, and the play doesn't count, and they get penalized 5 yards.
We'll take a look at it here, see who the man is. Looked like the left side of the line moved before the ball was snapped. Maybe a little anxious to get in there, Bill.
Yep, and I think now they're in a situation where they can't run off tackle. They're going to have to do something else. They're going to have to roll out. And like I say, that's in most cases what quarterbacks like to do, or coaches like to do when they get inside the 5 and it's 4th down. They like to roll out and give the quarterback an option, see? That way, if it doesn't work, they can say, well, the quarterback didn't throw it, or the quarterback threw it too soon, you know?
As we take a look at some of the fans in attendance, notice a lot of short sleeve shirts for a November afternoon. It's very rare.
It's an unusually nice day.
Here, Bill, I think this is a game you're going to be doing next week, Orange versus West Orange, high school football. This game can be seen Sunday, 7:30, Tuesday the 15th at 2:30, and the last viewing Thursday the 17th of November at 12 noon. And continuing on with more high school football action, we also have Westfield versus Linden. This game can be seen Saturday the 12th at 10:30 p.m., Sunday the 13th at 9:30 in the morning, and the last chance to see it, Wednesday the 16th, 2:30 in the afternoon. So as we get set to go back to the action, it's going to be 4th and goal from the 8-yard line for Governor Livingston, and they're going to spread it out here, Bill.
Yeah, if Governor Livingston gets in now, it's going to give him a good boost, a real good boost, something they need to get right back in this ball game.
Let's see what they do. They got the man in motion.
They're
Brian
overloading
Rodano.
the left side, overloading the left side.
Petricoro
Sprint
back
out.
to pass. He's being pressured. He looks into the end zone. Man is knocked down. The intended receiver, Brian Rodano. No flag on the play, though, so on 4th and goal,
No,
the
I don't think
Crusaders
he
hold.
was knocked down. I think what happened was his legs got caught out from under him, and he fell. He wasn't knocked down.
Crusaders take over.
We'll take a look at it right here, Bill, see if we can see what happened at the end of that play. Petricoro is rolling right. He's being pressured by Redziniak. And you can't really tell what happened at the end of the
No,
play.
I don't think he was nudged or hit. I think he did a little bit of play acting there is what happened.
The fans on the Governor Livingston side didn't think so, though.
Yeah,
You see them all get up?
Look
And
at
here
that
goes
far
Rashawn
runner.
Stovall again. Out across the 20-yard line to about the 22 for a Johnson first down.
Well, he's one of those rare things on that Governor Livingston team, on that Johnson Regional team. He's a senior, you know, and he wants to prove himself. I don't blame him. He's one of 5 people on that team that are seniors, and he wants to be remembered, I'm sure.
He's got some good season stats as well. 71 carries, 373 for a 5.3 average, and 3 touchdowns. And first and 10 here.
I'm sure Bobby'd like to have him back next year.
Ludak back to pass this time, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
You know, you're 140 pounds. You don't want to mess with those Kobarovs and 211 or Shooties 215. You don't want to mess with those people. Go down a little quicker, I'd tell them if you're waiting for me. Danny, they're too big for you.
Sean Thomas, the man who eventually brings Ludak down. I guess I'd give the credit to that sack to the guys in the secondary. Because
yeah, good coverage.
Second and about 13, and this handoff goes straight up the middle to Menzel.
Menzel on the carry.
Doesn't appear that he got anything on that carry.
Now, one of the things that Arthur Johnson wants to do is they want to attack the bubble. When I say attack the bubble, that's a place where the linebacker is. You know, they don't want to run at any of those big linemen. They don't want to run at Asen or Tommy or Chris or Sean or John. They don't want to run at them. They want to run where the bubble is, where the linebacker is, you know.
This time Ludak back to pass. He throws to his fullback, Menzel. Metzel's going to have to do it on his own, and he's going to be close to the first down, but Bill, I don't think he got enough.
I tell you who threw a great block on that play. Ray Redniak. Watch Ray Redniak's block.
Let's see.
Watch
if we
it.
can
Here he
get it right
comes,
here.
number 79. Here he comes. Watch him now. Watch him. He's coming. Boom. See him knock number 45?
Ray Redziniak is the right tackle. He's a 6'3", 250-pound junior. And Coach Taylor says he's probably one of the better linemen, maybe in this conference. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he's a big kid, and he's a strong kid, and he reacted to that play. I don't believe that was his man, but, you know, he's looking for somebody with a different colored shirt. He found one, and wacko. He cold-cocked him, and it was a good block.
It was an excellent block, and there you just saw the Crusaders are going to be about a half a yard short. So on fourth and about 6 inches. We'll see what Coach Taylor wants to do. Leading in this game 14-0. The ball's on the 30, his own 31-yard line, and they're going to go for it. They got that big fullback, Bill.
Yep, and what you're saying to your team is, we got confidence in you, offense.
4th and inches, and you got to, if I'm betting, the ball's going to number 34. There it goes. Off right tackle, he was down.
He was down, and he got the first down. And that, you know, that helps an offense when the coach does that. Sure, if it doesn't work, you know, and you turn the ball over and you put them in scoring position, you look like a fool, don't you? But, you know, when you're a coach, you do what you think is right, and that's what the coach did. That's what Taylor did that time, you know. He said to his offense, hey, I got confidence in you. You're going to pick up, no question, you're going to pick up. I'll gamble. I'll bet my job on you.
And that's the second time this game that they've gone for it on 4th down, and both times they've been successful now.
I'm just kidding about that job.
First down, the handoff goes to Rashawn Stovall, and he gets a couple on the carry, about 3, 4.
Once again, that's the first step number 1 of the triple option. And Ludak, he elected to put the ball in there and not pull it out anymore. He'll take that 3 yards and 3.5 yards, whatever it is, and if he can do it 3 times, he's going to have a first down.
Second and a long 6 yards here. Ludak back to pass this time, looking for Menzel. There's a flag on the play. Metzel's got a lot of running room. Shoestring tackle there by Tristan Linos. Well, let's see if this one comes back.
Good tackle. Good tackle.
Holding on the offense. That play is coming back, Bill.
These teams haven't made too many mistakes so far. We talked a lot about Bobby Taylor and Joe Herbert's team. You know, Joe Hubert's team is a well-coached team. They don't make too many mistakes. He works hard at what he does. He's been coaching now about 20 years. I've seen him around, and his teams are also very well coached.
Against the Crusaders.
We have a couple of excellent coaches down there today.
He's got a young team too, you know. He's got a few more seniors, but he also has got a couple of sophomores and a lot of juniors. He's going to be well next year.
Ludek running the delayed draw to Rashawn Stovall. Stovall picks up a couple on the carry. It's going to set up a long third down here, though. Third and about 17 for the Crusaders.
Well, normally, you know, that's a passing situation. Well, I don't know if I'd put the ball up by 2 touchdowns. I think I'd play it safe, maybe. If I were behind, I'd play it one way. If I'm ahead, I'd play it another way.
Give the ball to Metzel this time then, Bill, if you're coaching?
Well, I think so, yeah. I think I'd give it to Rashawn or Frank. Let them get what they can. Both of them have the ability at any time, you know, to break it big. So it's not like you're giving up. Just don't want to put the ball up and
Well, we saw that big play capability in the first quarter with Rashawn Stovall. Ludek is going to go back to pass. He's rolling to his right under heavy pressure. He gets around the pressure, looks for a man downfield. He's got Layden, does a good job, gets his feet in bounds. That's good enough for the first down for the Crusaders. Nice job there by both sides, by Ludek to avoid the rush and by Greg Layden to catch that pass and get his feet down.
well, you know what he had to do that time? We spoke of that earlier, you know. Greg went out. He was running a deep route. He's still running a deep route. All of a sudden, he sees his quarterback's in trouble, and he starts coming back right about now. He's coming back. He's facing the ball. He's left his defender, makes a good catch and keeps both feet in.
And that's a tough throw for the quarterback on the run, rolling to his right to throw the ball.
Right, and it's a good catch.
Excellent catch.
Good move. Evidently, they've played a little bit together. They know each other.
And Layden's
That
having a big day so far, Bill, as we just saw 2 receptions, 53 yards, and one of those being a 32-yard touchdown reception in the first quarter.
One of the things Bobby told me was that he's going to use the pass this week as one of his primary weapons, and I don't blame him. He's doing well with it. Some people think, you know, if you throw the ball, you're a sissy. A lot of coaches feel that way. You don't throw the ball unless you're desperate.
Once again, Ludek goes back to throw.
Levy on the reception.
Nice safe pass for 6 yards, you know. Safe pass. They had a play behind him. Didn't have to throw it far. Threw it about 6 or 7 yards and gained about 8 yards.
Joe Aleffi on the receiving end of that pass. Covers about 6 yards, and it's going to set up 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4 is not bad, and this is about 2nd and 3.5.
And the ball's in Governor Livingston territory now. And Ludek's having a nice day there, Bill. 4 for 6, 69 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. And
he's a good junior athlete.
this handoff straight up the middle to Stovall.
One of the things Coach Hubert told me was that he was going to have to stop that first part of the option, and he's right. If you don't stop the first part, you're going to get whipped. It's as simple as that.
And Bill, there was
a fumble.
There was a fumble on that play. The ball carrier was Joe Aleffi. He fumbled the ball, recovered by Governor Livingston. So the second turnover of the day for the Crusaders, and stops a drive. They looked like they were starting to move the ball fairly well.
Who dropped that ball that time? Joe Aleffi?
Joe Aleffi.
He doesn't carry the ball too much. Get him in this year,
Well, Governor Livingston will take it. Now there's another opportunity, and they did move the ball well last time until they got inside the 10-yard line. Petricora back to pass, under pressure. He's going to run with it. He's got some room. That carry's good for about 13, 14 yards as he gets a first down.
Well, he's 135 pounds. And you see when he saw those defenders converging on him, he just lowered his head and plowed into him like he was 220 pounds. Watch him now. He avoids a tackle very well in here. A couple of good blocks for him. Now watch him lower his shoulder in here. Boom, he's not sliding to the ground. He got an extra couple of yards out of that play, and that was their, as far as I know, their first time out.
And you had, as you mentioned, Bill, Paul Petricoro is 5'5", 135. He took on number 51, Dan Guzevich, who's 6 feet 190. So Petricoro giving away.
If it were a fight, they wouldn't allow it, would they? Or a wrestling match, they wouldn't allow it. But in football, they allow it.
The Essex County Tournament Finals in boys soccer faces the Knights of West Essex versus the Milburn Millers. This game can be seen Monday the 7th at 3 p.m., Wednesday the 9th at 3 p.m., and the last chance to see it Thursday night, November 10th at 9 p.m. And also on the same day being played, I believe it's sometime this weekend, the girls' finals in the Essex County Tournament, Columbia Cougars versus the Livingston Lancers. This game can be seen Tuesday the 8th at 3, Thursday the 10th at 3, and next Saturday, November 12th at 10 o'clock in the morning. So now 1st and 10.
Everybody's looking for the pass now.
Petricora back to pass again under pressure. Shoestring tackle there by Nick DeCorso.
He will not have time to throw the ball. There's no question that they're flying. They're taking off that defensive line. They're taking off.
Petricora back to pass again. Again under pressure. He gets the ball off to Steve
Great
Ritchell.
catch.
Ritchell,
On the reception.
nice catch, nice run after the catch as he carried Greg Layden for a few extra yards.
Great catch by Steve. He cut across the middle on that pattern. Paul threaded the needle, hit him right in the hands. Got a minute left to play now.
Petricora again back to pass again under heavy pressure. Looked like Nick DeCorso, the first man there.
You go to the well too many times, you know.
Loss on the
They're
play.
looking for him to duck inside now.
About 6.
Third sack of the game.
Second down.
Petricora put his knee down on the ground there on 2nd down and about 17.
And I think that saved his life. Somebody was coming in real hard.
So in the hurry-up offense, 3rd down, they're going to run a quick pass over the head of the intended receiver, Ryan Radican. This is going to set up a long 4th down. 25 seconds left in the game, in the half. And Governor Livingston's just going to be looking to air it out downfield, Bill.
I guess Hail Mary, hope for pass interference is their best call, you know. Pass interference, get him part of the way upfield, and then maybe try it again in the end zone. You got to have a vision, they say. That's why people buy lottery tickets.
Crusaders.
I bought lottery tickets for that big $80 million in New York, and I'm still here.
Yeah, I noticed.
Student Council of Arthur Johnson Regional High School.
Johnson takes a timeout here.
To witness the
Big 4th down
crowning
coming up
ceremony.
for Governor Livingston. The last chance to get something going. It's going to be about 4th and
And Coach is saying now, lay back, give him the short stuff, you know. The clock's going to run out, only 25 seconds, so give him anything short. Let's get a little pressure on the quarterback by the people that are coming upfield, but everybody play their man deep. Don't let anybody get behind you.
Johnson's been able to get some very good pressure every time Petricora goes back to pass. He doesn't have a whole lot of time.
Well, you know, it's tough. It's tough to block people when they know the quarterback's going to throw. They're just teeing off, you know. It's hard to block people at whatever level.
What are your impressions so far of the first half, Bill?
Well, I think that at this particular point, Governor Livingston has got to be a little more consistent. They have to go back to doing the things that they do best, you know, and that's running their tailback for the I formation. This kind of football, you know, wide open football, is not really their game.
Three receivers.
Not consistently. Whoops, here's the ball.
Trick
up in the
play
air.
for Governor Livingston as they try and bat the ball around in the air, but
That was not on purpose. Not on purpose.
it looked like it was on purpose.
Ball's incomplete.
I'd be surprised.
Crusaders
No,
take over.
Let's
No.
take a look at it and see if he does this on purpose or not.
no, that was off his fingertips. He throws the ball.
Bill, it looked like he batted that ball up in the air.
That could have been. I don't know. Could have been. I never saw a play like that where you did it on purpose.
Interesting little play there for
Yeah, I've seen the, what did we used to call it again? The hook and ladder, you know, where
the
you
right.
you throw a short pass or even a long pass and then lateral it, you know, as the guy's coming up to tackle you while you just lateral it.
That's the pass that
The old hook and ladder.
didn't Miami use that in that classic AFC playoff game against San Diego?
Hey, it was in my playbook every year. Every single year I had that play. And we'd practice it a lot. We used it a lot.
Ludek is just going to take a knee here
Ludek,
as the clock
takes a
will
knee.
tick down, ending the first half.
That will be the
Up
end of the
14
first
points,
half.
you don't blame him
Score
for
of
doing that.
Now it's a
Crusaders
good
14,
decision. Go into halftime with the
Highlanders
lead.
nil.
So at the end of one half, Arthur L. Johnson leads Governor Livingston 14-0. We'll be back with halftime festivities right after this.
For me! For me! For us! For me! For us!
If you won't do it for your own future, how about for theirs?
Welcome back to Nolan Field in Clark, where A.L. Johnson is leading Governor Livingston 14-0. Right now there's halftime festivities going on down on the field. The Governor Livingston marching band is on the field, and let's take a listen.
TV3, Suburban Cablevision's local origination channel, provides the finest in local programming for the 42 communities we serve. The National Cable Television Association has recognized Suburban's commitment to local programming by presenting TV3 with over 30 ACE Awards, the industry's highest achievement for community programming. We pledge to continue to provide the best in local programming, from high school sports to informative talk shows and entertaining specials. TV3, an industry leader, setting the standard and showing the way. Tune us in and see what we're all about.
Welcome back to the action, and once again it's a beautiful day in Clark. Johnson Regional is leading Governor Livingston 14-0. Bill, we got some first half stats to go over right after the kickoff. Kick fielded by Mike Trombetta. He's taken down at about the 26-yard. Let's go over some first half stats. First for Governor Livingston, rushing yards 78. They got 27 passing yards, 5 first downs. They've had 3 drives of 7 plays or more in the first half and no scores to show for it. On the other side, Johnson not really leading in yards. Rushing yards, they only have a 10-yard advantage. Passing yards, they have a big advantage there. First downs are fairly even. 2 turnovers haven't hurt Johnson yet, and they've scored on 2 big plays.
I guess that's the difference, you know, the 2 big plays. Otherwise, it's been a very close ball game.
Here's Trombetta taking the pitch, going right. He's trying to find some room to be taken down about a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's where they've been having a little luck running right.
This is the first half drive so far, first of the game. Governor Livingston, their first drive, 3 plays. They had to punt. Their second drive, they had 9 plays before they punted. And you see their third and fourth drives, where they started in fairly good field position, but they go out in downs, though.
Well, they got to do what they do best, you know, and what they do best seems to be lead block with the fullback and run off tackle. That's been their big play today. There's a little trap play, little misdirection.
Ritchell, the ball carrier, once again, he's going to pick up a couple of yards.
A little crisscross, a little misdirection, and sometimes if the defense overreacts, why, something like that can break big.
Steve Ritchell had 11 carries for 40 yards in the first half. Trombetta had 3 carries for 17 yards. Petrocora, the quarterback, 5 carries for 21 yards, and he was 3 for 8, 27 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions passing in the first half. Now on third down, there's a flea flicker. He's got the man open, Brian Rodano. The ball is just underthrown, picked off by Greg Layden. Layden setting up the run back. He's across the 50. He's tackled, he fumbles the ball. The fumble looks like it was, and it was recovered by Governor Livingston. Also a flag on the play. This is a real strange play, Bill.
Too many things happened here. It's hard to follow, you know. All I know is Governor Livingston now has the ball back, and they've got the ball back with about a 20-yard advance from where it started. They had the ball, they lost the ball, they had the ball. It looked like they were going to have the ball. Reminds me of a comedian I listened to once, you know. It looked like they had the ball. They should have had the ball. They didn't have the ball.
Well, they don't have the ball there.
Right. Layden has the ball.
Heads-up play by Greg Layden.
Now he's making a great run back now. Watch him. Look at those moves. He looks like a prime tailback. Look at him cut now. He's cutting. He's all over the place. And he gets hit from behind. He doesn't feel it coming. The ball pops up, and I believe
they have the
somebody
ball.
from Governor Livingston has the ball.
Yes, they do. It looked like Mike Trombetta, number 25, is the man who made the tackle from behind, punching the ball out of the hands of Greg Layden. So now, as Bill says, Governor Livingston picks up about 15 yards on that play, and Steve Ritchell picks up about 5 yards on this play.
Yeah, that was what they do best. What we just saw was what they do best.
And Richell's dirty uniform proves that he is the workhorse. You see his pant legs there.
Gain of 4.
He just needs a little room is all he needs, and I'll tell you, he's a hard runner. He plays every down like it's the last one, you know, and the game depends on it. He's one of those kind of backs. I can see that.
And he's got to look at that day right there. 13 carries for 48 yards so far. And they got to get something going here. 2nd and about 6. Here's the option pitch to Trombetta. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, now, they don't usually run the option, or at least it's not a vital part of their offense. If you notice, their quarterback had predetermined that. Following the fake, you know, he turned and pitched. He didn't even look upfield to see if there's room to run, because that wasn't how the play was designed. The play was designed for him to pitch. The play was designed so that the end comes in and tackles him and he pitches out. The end didn't commit himself, however, on that play. He pitched, however, on that play, and he was stopped at the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be 3rd and a long 5. And again, they run the option, and Petricora carries himself, and he gets out across the 50-yard line into Johnson territory down to the 45. That's good enough for a 1st down.
Old Paul is one tough little bugger, isn't he? Boy, he's a tough little fella. Look at him turn upfield now. I guess somebody saw the fact that on the last play he pitched too early. They hadn't covered him. Well, this time, you know, he had determined he was going to cut upfield. Wouldn't make any difference if the pitch man was open.
He is a tough-nosed kid, and like we said earlier, he's only a sophomore, 5'5", 135, but he's not afraid to lower the head and shoulders and take it at him, Bill.
Right, and this is what Steve Richell likes to do, you know. Once again, he hits up in there inside, got as much as he could. He got about 3.5 yards on the play. Hard-earned yards. He's looking for something to break every time.
Most of his yards today have been hard-earned yards. He sets up a 2nd and about 7 here for the Highlanders.
Yeah, they've had the ball close to 5 minutes already, you know, and that's good to keep the ball, but, you know, you've got to score.
Petricaro back to pass. He swings it out to Richell. Richell will take the ball down to about the 40-yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd and 5.
He's a good man to get the ball to, because he'll break a tackle or two for you and get you big yards.
3rd down.
Here we see there he gets the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and he fights ahead for about 4 yards.
Paul's going to learn to step into that ball when he releases it, you know, and not throw it with his feet perpendicular to the line of parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's going to learn. He's going to get better, but he's got ingredient number 1. He has courage.
3rd and 5 here, and he's going to take the ball straight up the middle again. Quick quarterback sneak, and he's going to be very close to the 1st down.
That's tough to do, you know. Quarterback sneak with 5-6 yards to go.
Yeah, normally you see that with 1 or 2 yards, but right here you see he takes 1 step backwards before he goes forwards.
Yep. That's predetermined. That's predetermined.
They're going to measure.
Measurement.
I think he's got enough for the 1st down here, Bill.
You know, Teague's son Kim is back in the ball game. His ankle was just a slight sprain. I think he was stepped on. At least that's what he told me in the locker room. I asked him, and he's a quiet kid, you know. He doesn't make a whole lot of noise. He doesn't complain a lot. I said...
and it looks like he did not get the 1st down by about a link or 2 on the chain.
Well...
It's going to set up a 4th and about an inch or 2, and I'm looking for probably that same play again, Bill, here as you see.
I don't know. They're looking for the same play again, too, but he's going to look. Now, they're in the 5. They got 2 linebackers. They run the fullback, and I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
Richell's definitely got it on this play.
He wasn't to be denied. He got hit at the line of scrimmage, and the only way they could have prevented it was to send him back, and they didn't do that. His legs were going, his body was low, and there's no stopping him on that play. Now, they got to come through with the score here. Now, they've had the ball close to 6 minutes.
Yeah, and Joe Hubert has seen his team drive the ball downfield a couple of times today and come away with nothing, especially in the 1st half. They had 4th and goal from the 3 before they had a 5-yard penalty, set them back to the 8, and they weren't able to punch it in. And there goes Mr. Richell again. He'll get a couple on the carry, about a yard or so.
That was Ray Ridziniak. Made a good play that time. He slid off his block. He was hit at the line of scrimmage. He slid off his block, reached out, grabbed Ritchell by the shoulders and dragged him down.
Redziniak's a big kid, Bill. 6'3", 250-pound junior, and
He plays like a big kid, too. He's in a lot of action.
he sure is. They like to run behind him. He's the right tackle on offense, and teams don't like to run at him when he's playing defense. They don't have. Governor Livingston does not have a guy that big
No,
on,
he's big
on
and
their
he's tough.
offensive line.
Ritchell on the carry.
You see,
Ritchell-
but this is what they do the best. They run at people the
Off the
best.
tackle.
When they throw the ball, they're a little out of character, especially if they drop back and pass.
5.
You see, they run at people. They run at people real good. They just got to get a little bit of a seam, you know, and they're in fourth down territory from here on in. You know he's not going to kick unless, you know, they throw him for a big loss.
No, he can't kick. It's here. He's got a third down and about 5. A ball on the 30-yard line. Petricora going to keep it himself. He's got room around the outside. It's good enough for the first down. He's going to take the ball down close to the 20-yard line.
Once again, that was a predetermined play, you know. He put the ball in there, looked like the old belly option, you know. Nobody to pitch to because his blocker, his tailback, was downfield trying to knock people down. Good play. He's got quick feet.
And now on this drive, Governor Livingston takes the advantage in rushing yards on the day. Of course, the one category that does count, they're still behind by 14.
And they've gone through 7 minutes and 1 second to play. They've held the ball for over 7 minutes. You just got to come up with a score now. If you don't come up with a score, look at all the time you've wasted.
And this is going to be the 11th play of the drive, Bill. So 11 plays, 70 minutes, and they've moved the ball downfield very well.
Yeah, except for that one fluke play, you know, where the ball
Right.
changed hands twice. They've moved it pretty convincingly.
So now they have a 1st and 10. The ball's resting on the Crusader 20-yard line. And for Governor Livingston, they have to come away with something here to get them back into this game. If the Crusader defense stops them again, that big mo that you've been talking about all afternoon is going to be on the blue side.
Right. You're absolutely right. This next series, you know, is going to be important. Like I say, they're 4-down territory. If they're going to throw the ball, they have to throw the ball right now.
And there you see we have scoreboard every Saturday night live on TV3. You get scores, highlights from all around the local area. All the high school football action only on TV3. That's 7:30 Saturday nights, and if you miss it, go back on Sunday mornings at 9. Ritchell here on 1st down is dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Oh, Ray's in there again. Ray just met the ball carrier, met Ritchell head on right at the line of scrimmage. Ray at 250 pounds, Ritchell at 190 pounds. They come together like two of those wild steer, you know.
And that time, Ritchell was not able to win the battle. And probably very few people he goes up against that send him backwards, Bill.
Not at this level. No, you got to get to a higher level if they're anybody going to send them backwards.
2nd and 12, and Petricoro again
Petricoro.
keeping the ball himself. He's going to carry for about 3 or 4 yards. They'll set up a 3rd down and about 8.
Off
And
the tackle.
Well, he's been successful, you know. Whatever's going for you, that's what you got to do. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep doing it till they stop it.
now Coach Hubert or somebody on his staff must have seen something in the first half that told them that the quarterback could run the ball. And that's what they've tried to do on this second half drive, the opening drive of the second half, which is now taken up over 8 minutes. Petricora running a little reverse. Play is wide open inside the 10-yard line. Man is
I believe
taken
he's
out.
got the first down. Well-conceived play by Joe Hubert.
The man taking the pitch coming on the end around is number 34, Scott Reddy. Excellent play call here. So we'll
Scott
see it
Reddy's
again.
got good speed, you know.
We take a look at it right now, Bill. He breaks a tackle in the backfield by Carmine Rossetti, and now it's a foot race.
Scott Reddy's their kicker, you know, and he's been having a good year kicking the ball. And
Number 6.
It's finally dragged out of bounds by Steve Cicatelli, and here comes Ritchell. He's got the ball inside the 5-yard line. Touchdown, Governor Livingston.
okay, now they're back in the ball game for sure. With 3.5 minutes to go, they've used up 3.5 from 12 is how much? 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes.
That's an excellent drive. It's the way they wanted to come out here to start the second half.
It's a good drive, but it's a calamity if you don't get in to score.
Right. Now Reddy will attempt the extra point. The extra point is blocked. Number 21, Anthony Peters, on the play there. Big play for the Crusader defense.
What that means is that if they score again, they've got to go for 2.
That's not what Coach Joe Hubert wanted to see. He would have rather, if he gets to the point, go for 2 for the win.
Yeah, sure. Well,
Let's
if he
see
has
this.
to go for 2 he'd settle right now
Yep.
for another score somehow.
Nobody blocked Peters. He comes in and makes an excellent play.
Yep, and he dove at the right time. That's what's important in a play like that. You know, people think you just rushed in and blocked. No, you got to take off at the right time. You got to be above the guy's toe when he kicks the ball. You can't be too far in. And you certainly can't run into the kicker. Okay, now let's give the other team. I think, you know, it's the other team's chance to have a ball.
Yeah, the Crusaders haven't had a chance except for about 15 seconds when Layden had the ball in his hands. They haven't touched the ball this half.
Yep, that offense must be raring to go. Sometimes an offense sitting on a bench like that, they get too much raring to go, you know, and they go too big too soon.
Reddy's kickoff is deep. Greg Layden lets it bounce in front of him. The ball's rolling down, staying inbounds. Picked up by Joe Alefi at about the 2-yard line, and he takes the ball out to the 10. So Governor Livingston's defense now has the Crusaders backed up at the 10, and we'll see what they can do.
Okay, and once again, I think what you're going to find Johnson Regional doing is going back to their basic stuff, you know, their 2-back option.
And we see the drives today for Johnson. They started in good field position. Their first drive they scored. The second drive they started again right about at midfield. They scored, and since then they've had 2 turnovers, and they took a knee at the end of the half. Ludek this time straight up the middle to Menzel. So let's see what Dan Ludek, Frank Metzel, and Rashawn Stovall, the key 3 on this Crusader offense, can do here.
Well, once again, that's the first start of the option, you know, and you can't knock a play where there's simply one exchange of the ball, the guy hits straight ahead and gains 3.5 yards, you know. That's a gimme. You take that every time you can.
Oh, definitely. That's good for about 4 yards.
There's the second part of the option.
Here comes the option. Ludek will take it himself, carries the ball out to the 35-yard line. Nice big gain there for the Crusaders.
And that play was made by Dan Leda. I'm not talking about the fact that he run it well. I'm talking about the fact that he pulled the ball back from the fullback, you know. After sticking the ball in there, he read the defense, saw that his fullback was going to get clobbered, pulled the ball back, turned the corner, got big yardage, about 15 yards. So that was a good decision by Dan. And that's what he's going to have to do a lot of. So he's going to run that offense.
Here's a little hitch pass to Greg Layden, wide open down here. Carries the ball out across midfield.
That is not an easy pass to throw, you know. You're throwing the ball across your body. That's a difficult pass to throw. You've got to have a good arm, you know. You've got to have a good arm to make that kind of a pass.
And the pass was right on the money.
Yep. He's 140 pounds, he's 5'8", but he's got a good arm. He's a strong fella. Got to stretch him out and fatten him up a little bit, that's all.
First down inside Governor Livingston territory, and here the pitch goes back to Frank Metzel, and he's taken down in the backfield by Tim Pearson. Dropped for about a 3 or 4 yard loss.
Kenny Pearson read that play real well, you know. He didn't read the quarterback. He read his job. His job was a pitch man. You see, on defense, when you're defensing the option, everyone has an assignment. Now, somebody is assigned to the first man through, the fullback usually. Somebody is assigned to him. If the fullback doesn't have the ball, another person, a linebacker or a safety or an end, is assigned to the quarterback. You see, now, if the quarterback is covered and your dive man is covered, that leaves only one other person. That's the pitch man. Somebody's assigned to the pitch man. Now, obviously, He was assigned to the pitchman, and just as soon as the ball got there, he got there because that was his assignment. Now what's happening is,
And Pearson.
they're changing the coverage so that the same man that's assigned to the quarterback is not going for the quarterback every time. Fellow that's assigned for the quarterback one time, he may go for the fullback.
Second down.
So they keep changing up that assignment on the option versus the option, and that time it paid off.
Pearson was the man who was down on the play. Pearson probably just had the wind knocked out of him. We're set to resume, and Menzel straight up the middle gets the ball back,
On the carry.
right back to about the original line of scrimmage, and this is going to set up a 3rd and a long 9 yards.
You see what's happening if Metzelsi can break that man that's assigned to him, can break that tackle, why, he's going to get pretty good yardage. That time he hung on and he got fair yardage, but you know, he's got to break the tackle completely because there has to be somebody assigned to the quarterback and there has to be somebody assigned to the pitchman.
So with time running down in the 3rd quarter, we're under 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Crusaders on 3rd and 9. This handoff goes straight up the middle.
Menzel.
Now,
Carry.
it seems to me on that particular play, you know, there was an overload defensively to the strong side.
5.
What I'm saying is they had an extra man on the strong side. For whatever reason, they felt like they were going to run that way. Maybe it was because the offense had rotated a flanker to that side. But in any case, they had an overload to the strong side.
And a 4th and 5 now. Looks like Johnson will punt. It will be their first punt of the game, but they will not get it done in this quarter. They'll have to punt starting the 4th quarter. But at the end of 3, Governor Livingston trailing now by 8 points, 14-6. We'll be right back.
Yes, I have a patient wearing a medical alert bracelet.
X-rays on the way.
Need a central line, kid?
Eligible
Welcome back
players.
to Nolan Field.
Exercise.
After 3 quarters of play, the home team, the Johnson Crusaders, are leading Governor Livingston 14-6. Governor Livingston put together that excellent drive, taking up 8.5 minutes, starting the 2nd half. The point after was blocked by Anthony Peters, and that's where we stand right now.
Now they're going to
14-6.
get the ball back, and you know,
Yes,
they've
they
moved
are.
the ball well.
4th and 5, and the Crusaders will punt. It's a short punt. Ball's going to hit and go out of bounds about the 37-yard line, so not much on that punt for the Crusaders. Governor Livingston starting with pretty good field position,
31.
and then they'd like to put together another long drive like they did to start the game. And let's take a look at 3rd quarter stats. At the end of 3, now you see that Governor Livingston has the advantage in rushing yards, Johnson the advantage in passing yards. Johnson's committed 3 turnovers today.
The important statistic, however, is that Governor Livingston has 6 points and Arthur Johnson has 14. That's the only statistics that means a whole lot. First down, and they've got to move the ball, and if they're going to throw the ball, and they've had reasonably good success throwing the ball, they've got to throw the ball early. They can't wait for 3rd and long in order to throw the ball because he's getting clobbered on 3rd and long. I think he just missed the handoff that time and took off.
He kept the ball himself again, and they were using that play well in the first half, whether or not this time he was supposed to hand off, but Paul
I think that was an
Petrichor,
accident. I think what happened, the dive back got by so fast, he never did get him the ball. So he took off with it, and he got good yardage. He got 5 yards on the play.
Coach Hubert,
2nd and 5 is good.
yeah, he'll take 5 yards on a mistake on the first play. And
I said-
Petrichoros carried the ball 10 times for 56 yards on the day. This time he hands the ball off to Mike Trombetta.
Trombetta's a hard runner, you know. He's 5'9", he's 175 pounds.
Trombetta.
And he is the heir apparent as a tailback I would expect next year when Steve
3rd down.
graduates. I think he's going to be, I would expect him to be the tailback because he's got real good speed. He's 175. He'll come back at about 185, maybe better.
He's only a
5'10".
sophomore.
Yeah. So he'll come back and he'll be a classic tailback with the attribute being he's probably one of the fastest kids on the team.
Third and about a yard. Petricora trying to get the ball around the outside, taking it himself, and he's going to be dropped short of the first down.
He tries, but sometimes you try too much. You try to do too much when you're a quarterback. But now it's 4th down, and it looks like they're sending in the kicking team.
Ball behind Athens. Layton and the lefty.
Looks
Too
like they
early
will-
to gamble, I guess. 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of time left. Governor Livingston did a good job last time on defense, so Coach Hubert's going to kick it back to him, let the defense go out there and get the ball back for his offense. This punt gets down inside the 35. Layden picks it up. Couple of moves, he carries the ball close to midfield.
He's a good runner, isn't he?
Yes, he is a good runner. Has a couple of nice moves down there on the sidelines. And Johnson will start with the ball on about their own 47, leading by 8 with just under 10 minutes to go in this game.
He's an 11th grader also. He'll be back with Dan, and Dan will throw some more to him next year. And if they practice a whole lot, if they get together and practice a whole lot, next year they're going to be tough to beat that combination.
Yes, they will. And Ludek brings his team back out there, starting the 1st and 10, starting this drive in the 4th quarter. And
I don't think he was able to get the ball to his dive back. Either he was a little slow, the dive back was too quick off the gun, or maybe he was too tight up on the line. In any case, he didn't even look. He just pulled the ball back. He was going to keep the football that time. There was no attempt to leave the ball in the dive back's pocket, dive back's hands.
this brings up a 2nd and 10 for the Crusaders. Ludek this time keeps the ball himself, fakes the handoff, keeps the ball himself, carries the ball down close, very close to the first down. It's going to depend on the spot.
See, one of the problems, as I indicated before, in assigning people to offensive people, is that sometimes somebody will blow an assignment. Nobody seemed to have the quarterback on that play. Did you notice that there was somebody with the pitch man? Had he pitched it out, hey, play would have been stopped dead. They stopped the dive man. In other words, they stopped number 1 and they stopped number 3, but they didn't stop number 2, which was the quarterback. And he was able to keep the ball, turn upfield for good yardage.
And Johnson does not have enough for the first down. It's going to be 3rd and inches. And we should take this time right now to say thank you on behalf of the entire TV3 crew. Say thank you to the mothers and the coaching staff of Johnson Crusaders who invited the entire crew in for pancake breakfast this morning, and nice touch on their behalf, Bill.
Well,
And
anything
Frank
less.
Metzel takes the ball, and nobody's going to catch him. He's gone. Oh, gets in just shoestring tackle just short as he was able to get the ball over the line before his knee touched the ground. Frank
6'1",
Metzel,
240 pounds, and he can run.
yes, he can.
Good speed, and he can run. And he's a nice boy. I spoke to him before the game. He's just a real fine gentleman.
So once again, you see another one of those big plays offensively for the Johnson Crusaders. They strike on a 3rd and inches.
11th grader he is. 6'1", 240 pounds, well built.
He's going to be a force next year.
He's also
He's already a force.
right. He's also a fine wrestler, they say. Tough kid, got all the things you want.
The snap here muffed, and this point after attempt will be unsuccessful. So both teams have now scored in the second half, and both have not been able to convert the point after. The score stands at 20-6, and there you see the Johnson scoring drive. 3 plays, 53 yards, and 44 of those yards were on Frank Metzel's touchdown run, lifting his team back to a 14-point advantage.
That was number 1, and one of the things that Joe Hubert told me a few days ago was we have to stop the number 1 man. We've got to stop the dive back. If we don't stop him, well, we'll never stay in the ball game. Well, that time on that play, they didn't stop the dive back. He just took off downfield, and Once again, you know, they didn't stop him. Whoever was assigned to tackle him
So
either
with-
forgot, didn't do it, or got confused, whatever. Or he was by him so fast he didn't know.
Well, with just over 8 minutes to play now, Coach Bob Taylor's Johnson Crusaders have established a 14-point lead again, giving themselves a little bit of breathing room. They answer back to the Governor Livingston score earlier in the first half, and now Governor Livingston's got its work cut out for him, Bill.
You know, if anybody knows that veer offense, it's Bobby Taylor. He's been running it for about over 20 years.
Kickoff return is taken out over the 20-yard line to about the 23. That's where Governor Livingston will start this possession.
And now they need, the complexion of the game has changed and the philosophy has to change.
Here you see the score by quarter. A.L. Johnson jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead early in the first. That was all the scoring in the first half. And that big 8.5-minute drive to start the second half by Governor Livingston. And then just now, Johnson comes back and answers with 6 of their own. And that's where we stand, 20-6 with 8:06 to play.
Johnson
in the game.
has made it on all big plays, haven't they, Paul? All big plays.
They had a 51-yard, as this pass is completed to Anthony Picarella. There's a flag at the end of the play. Back to the big plays for Johnsonville. 51 yards on a run by Rashawn Stoffel, a 32-yard touchdown reception by Greg Layden, and now just this 44-yard scamper by Frank Metzel.
There's a flag on the play. I don't know what the flag was about. It seemed to come at the end of the play.
Looks like it's against Governor Livingston as they're going to march off yardage after the end of that play.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm sure it was a good call. That isn't what I mean. Oh, it was a clip.
Flipping
It was a clip.
against the Highlanders.
And right in front of the official. If you're
Right
going to clip, don't do
Right
it.
there at the end of the play,
Yep,
Bill, you saw it.
yep.
It was a
Good call.
the block didn't need to be made either. The Picarella was already on his way down. So instead of having a first down, he set up a first down at the 40. This sets up a first down and long.
They didn't get a whole lot back on that play, so
No, they
now
did
we're
not.
second down and long yardage. And now they're in that terrible position of having to throw the ball and everybody and his grandmother knowing they're going to throw the ball, and those defensive linemen are going to be teeing off. Connie Rossetti and Ray Redziak and Teague Sun Kim and Jim Dlugosh and Nick DeCorso, they're coming. Guarantee they're all coming. And they're going to meet at the quarterback if they can.
2nd and 15, and if Paul Petrocoro goes back to pass, he's not going to have a whole lot of time. Here
No,
he
he
goes,
doesn't.
and
No,
there
he
they
doesn't.
come.
There's a
And
ball.
the ball is stripped. No, they call the referee calls a forward pass incomplete, but the pressure was there, and the first man was Carmine Rossetti. He was also helped out by Jim DeLagos.
Yeah, now that defensive line averages 199 pounds, which by today's standards, you know, isn't a whole lot. By the standards that existed while I was coaching, you got to remember, I stopped coaching 14 years ago. It's just an average defensive line, maybe smaller than average, but they're very quick. The average offensive line is just about 206 yards, 6 pounds.
And this sets up a big 3rd and 15 for Governor Livingston, and you can bet, Bill, that the Crusaders are going to be teeing off on the pass again. And this is a fumble on the snap.
Recovered by Petrocoro.
Petrocoro recovers the fumble,
Fourth down.
but it's going to set up a long 4th down here, and Governor Livingston once again is going to be forced to punt.
That was like being behind a rock and a hard place. You know what I mean? Between a rock and a hard place. He didn't have a choice, and he just had I guess what he was trying to do is take a step back and run the quarterback draw. It would have been as safe a play as you can run. Because the front line's getting beat up by the defensive line.
Yeah, the defense is putting on big pressure. And here they come again. The punt is blocked by Carmine Rossetti. The ball is recovered by Johnson inside the 10-yard line at about the 5-yard line. Big play there by Carmine Rossetti. The 6'1", 190-pound junior got in a
Yeah,
hurry.
they're
And we'll
coming.
take a look
They're
right
coming.
here.
And he got it at the right time.
And he
Yeah.
falls on. He's the man who eventually recovers it also.
You know, just what we said pregame. You know, we talk about these specialists. You know, the people that get their name in a paper. But here it is. Here, who wins a game? Your guys up front, the guys in the trenches, so to speak.
And Ludek
Correction.
Ludek keeps the ball himself there, carries the ball down inside the 5-yard line
Ludek on the carry.
to about the 3.
Got a yard or two on what looked like a
To the
busted
2.
play.
Second down.
Sets up a 2nd and goal from about the 2 or 3 yard line. Calls to 2.5. Now we're approaching 5 minutes to go in the game, and this is a tough break for Governor Livingston having that punt blocked.
Yeah, they're going to have to, if they want any kind of a chance, they've got to, no, he's in.
Ludek.
Ludek fakes the dive straight ahead to Metzel and carries the ball in all by himself, untouched. So Governor Livingston now falling behind 26-6 as the Crusaders take advantage of the blocked punt, score on their 2nd play, and there's a man down on the field for the Crusaders. As the coaching staff goes out to attend to the young man who's down, we'll try and get a number. In the meantime, Bill, that block punt and the subsequent touchdown,
Well, I would have to say that the
you see the drive
Arthur
right-
Johnson Regional defensive line is whipping the offensive line of the Governor Livingston team.
2 plays on that drive. As I started from the 5-yard line, Ludek takes it in from the 2. Ray Redziniak was the man down. He's up, walking off under his own power. He looks to be okay, and it would seem, Bill, that with just over 5 minutes, 5:03 to go in the game, this touchdown pretty much steals it for the Crusaders.
He's having a good game, Ray is. It'd be a shame if he were hurt, and he doesn't look like he appeared to be that he's hurt. He's having a great game.
Hassler to
He's
kick.
been on a lot of tackles. He's made a lot of good hard tackles in there defensively, and he's blocked very efficiently offensively.
Done an excellent job on the offensive line. And the point after is good. And as we're talking about the offensive line, not only is Ray Redziniak doing a good job, but also Jim DeLagos, Carmen Scuderi, Bill Ives, and Dan Guzevich. All 5 of them have done an excellent job opening holes for Metzel, Stovall, and Ludek when he keeps it himself. And here we have Governor Livingston falling behind now 27-6.
And it's going to be uphill from here on in. You know, they're going to once again be faced with that position where they have to throw the ball. And if they do, they're going to get a lot of pressure. You can be sure that defensive line, they're raring to go now. No
Sure.
stopping them now.
Oh, and it's going to be a long uphill battle, and this Johnson defense is going to be keen on the pass now. And one of the assistant coaches down on the Johnson staff is also a member of our TV3 crew. He has his own show, I believe, on Sunday nights at 11:30 called Suburban Soundwaves, and that's Steve Shofie. So he coaches during the weekend on Saturdays, and he's doing TV3 telecasts on Sunday nights. If you get a chance, especially all the Johnson fans that are out there, I'm sure you all know about it already. Suburban Soundwaves, hosted by your own Steve Shofie.
He almost made it through that wedge. He had one man to beat. He beats that man, and he could be running right now.
There's a happy bunch of young ladies, the Johnson cheerleaders, and there's a shot of Coach Shofie's, the back of Coach Shofie's head.
Well, Paul will be back next year. He's a sophomore. He's got 2 more years to go. Mike Trombetta, he'll be back next year. He's got 2 more years to go. Bob Andrews, he'll be back. Matt Wiggins, he'll be back. They've got a nice basic group of boys coming back next year.
Petricora back to pass, under pressure again. He carries the ball. He's able to get the ball across the line of scrimmage for about a yard gain.
That was a decent scramble, considering the fact that There's going to be good coverage in the secondary. Those people that are getting paid to play defense back there in the secondary, they better do what they've practiced all year long, you know. That's what they've practiced, pass defense. How many hours they spent working on pass defense? They better be able to. Whoops, somebody got out of their zone.
Here's the pass out to Brian Rodano. Rodano's got some room. He carries the ball out across the 50 into Johnson territory. Takes the ball down to about the 42-yard line. Big hit at the end of this play, Bill, as we're going to take a look at it right here. Rodano and Joe Atanasio come helmet to helmet at the end of this play.
Well, they're not quitters, that's for sure. You know that now. They're going to try. They're giving it everything they have right now.
Yes, they are, and Petricoro back again to pass.
Same pattern, same success. A little shorter, but same pattern, same, a little drag, a little hesitation and drag pattern.
Ken DiPietro was the receiver on this play, and we'll take a look at it again.
Little drag pattern across the field.
The pass play picked up about 8 yards. It's a 2nd and 2.
Split backs, flanker left, single back, man in motion, overloading the left. Watch out, watch out.
And he's hit hard. Fumbles the ball. The ball is picked up by one of the linemen, Asen Kubarov. Kubarov's going to run the ball down. He's got the first down. He's got enough yardage for the first down. Alert play by Asen Kubarov.
He was surprised, wasn't he? But he made a good run out of it.
First down, Highlanders.
Petricoro had no idea the pressure was coming. He turned around, bang, man was in his face.
I tried to tell him I was way up here.
You didn't yell loud enough.
Yeah, I yelled at him.
You got to yell louder, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Petricoro again back to pass. The pass blocked at the line of scrimmage. That was a forward pass. It was blocked. Incomplete.
That was stuffed. That ball was stuffed, clean stuffed.
Second sets up a 2nd and 10. We'll take a look at it again, see who was the man who blocked the pass.
One of those big old linemen. I don't know who.
Looked like number 52, Tom Harrington, as Coach Taylor starts to let some of his subs get in the game.
Yeah, I noticed that. He's got a lot of people that didn't start in the ball game right now.
Nice touch as this handoff goes straight up the middle.
Nice call, nice draw play, good execution on the draw play. Now they're moving the ball.
Number 48, Matt Kohler, the ball carrier on this play, as Coach Joe Hubert starts to get some of his reserves in also.
The only problem that they have, Governor Livingston, right now is that clock is ticking away. There are 3 minutes left to play in the ball game. Whoops, watch out, watch out.
Petricoro again back to pass. He's got a man this time, Mike Trombetta.
He can fire the ball. He is a good passer, and he's going to get better for sure. Paul has got a lot to look forward to.
He's a young kid, like we said. He's only a sophomore, 5'5", 135. He's getting great game experience right now, and there you see his line for the day.
He's competing, you know. He's not being beaten. He's competing. When he has a chance, he's competing. He throws the ball very well.
Matt Kohler, again, the ball carrier for the Highlanders. They have the ball just shy of the 5-yard line. 10-yard line, excuse me.
Wise calls now. They're getting a lot of pressure from the outside, so they draw inside.
2nd and 6 from the 10. Petricoro rolling to his right. He's got a man out in the flat. Pass is complete. Nice tackle there by Joe Atanasio. Pass was complete to number 22, Ken DiPietro.
Once again, 2 minutes left to play. That's the only problem that they have right now. They're moving the ball very well. Their patterns are breaking. They're getting a little time to throw the ball.
Petricoro looking to his left. He's got Trombetta for the touchdown. Nice 6-yard pass play there. Trombetta wide open. And Governor Livingston comes right down the field and scores.
Well, they're throwing well. They're throwing underneath. They're sending people deep, and they're throwing underneath. And they're giving them a little time to set and release. Nice pass.
Yeah, it's a nice pass. That was a nice pass there by Paul Petricoro.
Johnson's in a zone defense, and they're being moved out of the zone defense by boys that are cutting across their face, you know, and they're taking 2 steps to go with the runner, and they're out of their zone, and somebody drags across in their zone. You can't do that. You gotta maintain your deep zone.
And there again, you see a long drive by Governor Livingston, 10 plays, 68 yards. Trombetta on the receiving end of a 6-yard touchdown reception from Paul Petricoro. And with the point after good, Johnson now leads 27-13, but there's only a minute 49 to go in the game, and we can definitely expect the onside kick coming here, Bill.
There was Bobby, you know, getting everybody ready, telling him he's still there, he's still at it. You know, you had your cameraman right in his huddle a few minutes ago. But he's telling everybody what to do. That was a good shot. He's very calm, you know. Now remember, they're going to do this, so we have to do this, you know. Let's be prepared. We practiced it, you know. We did it right in practice. Let's do it now. Everybody be careful now.
He's been at this a long time now, 21 years, and he's got a lot of experience. Very thorough man. I had a chance to talk to him during the week. Just I don't think very many things get past Bob Taylor at this stage of the game, Bill.
Nope. He's prepared now. See, his coaches are repeating what he said to his teammates. Whoops, there it goes.
Here comes the onside kick. Recovered by one of the Crusaders right at the 50-yard line. Nick DeCorso, the man who was able to make fall on the ball.
He concentrated on that ball, didn't he?
Yeah, and one of the other men up on the line came up to make a nice block, freeing up a little bit of room for DeCorso to fall on the ball. Now Ludek and the rest of the offense are just going to attempt to run out the clock here.
Now there's a minute and 33 seconds, and they're up by 2 touchdowns, and I'm sure Coach Hubert knows that there really isn't any kind of a chance, so he's going to let the clock run out. He's not going to stop it, I don't think. Lead runner, you know.
Metzel straight through the line of scrimmage, carries the ball for about 7. Metzel, right on his average, he's got 10 carries for 71 yards and 1 touchdown, and he's been averaging 70 yards a game so far this season, so he's right there again.
55 seconds to play, and there really isn't very much hope if you're a Governor Livingston rooter.
And here we have a flag on the play, maybe.
Well, you got new boys in there, you know. You got boys that don't play too much, and they make mistakes.
It's encroachment on the defense.
They don't get as much practice time as the other fellas, you know, as a starter. So when they get in there, they get a little excited. They're human.
Walk off that penalty, it gives Johnson another first down, and as the clock is now running under 40 seconds. .30 seconds to go in the game, and Ludek once again hands off to Frank Metzel. Metzel breaks through the line, and he's going to go again for another score. 40-yard touchdown run for Frank Metzel to finish off this game for the Johnson Crusaders. Johnson looking to just run out the clock, a fullback dive, and it just opened up again, Bill, as we'll see right here.
Yep, good blocking up front, good blocking. He's got room to run. You're not going to tackle him by reaching out and trying to grab him, you know. They got a pretty much your second defensive club in there, you know, and you're not going to bring him down. Learn that today. You got to put a shoulder in there if you really want to stop him.
Frank Metzel, 11 carries, 111 yards, and 2 touchdown runs, and I think he just earned game honors on that last carry, Bill.
Great carry, great run. He's got good speed. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's got everything.
The point after is good, and now Johnson goes up by the count of 34-13 with 19 seconds to play. And Bill, on the roster for Johnson coming up next week, they have Roselle Park, and then for the Thanksgiving game, they have Newark Central, and those two schools better take a long look at number 34, Frank Metzel, because that's who they're going to be seeing carrying the ball.
Yeah, and every time he carries the ball, he gets a little better. He gets a little more confidence. He gets a little smarter. So by the time next year comes around, he's going to be a good back.
It's almost scary that this kid is only a junior, 6'1", 240, only a junior, so he will be back next year, and as will most of this Johnson starting team, only 5 starters.
You know the nicest part about it, Bob? The nicest part about it, he's a nice kid.
Yes, he is.
Nice, quiet, unassuming youngster. not a blowhard, and I'm sure he can handle the praise. He can handle it pretty well.
So Johnson had to. They're right on the verge of possibly making the playoffs this year. If Caldwell runs the table and goes undefeated, they won't have enough power points to be in the top 4 in North Jersey Group 2, Section 2, Group 2. But if they go undefeated, you have to let them in the playoffs. Adds 2 more teams. Caldwell will be the number 5 team, and it's going to be a shootout between Johnson and Hillside for who's going to make that 6th team. And right now, all Coach Taylor and his guys can do is win the rest of their games and see where they fall. And Hillside is one of those teams that they did lose to this year.
Yeah, they did. I wonder if that counts, you know. I think it counts.
It counts, but it's going to be. Hillside's got a tough game today against Roselle.
Is that right?
Another game which TV3 is carrying, and we'll get it.
You know, one thing, this Arthur Johnson regional team is getting better, and Bobby Taylor says it. You know, they're young. They're just getting better every week.
They've won their last 2 games. They beat last week. They went down to Manville on Friday night and beat a good Manville team 14-7.
Yeah, they're continuing to grow and continuing to get confidence, and they're continuing to get better. And you know, that's what you'd expect from Bobby Taylor's teams.
He's done an excellent job this year with this bunch of guys, and most of them are going to be coming back, and I'm sure most of these guys, they probably enjoy playing for Coach Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not a hard guy to like.
Let's see what Governor Livingston's going to do here. Petricora again under heavy pressure.
Okay, 4 seconds to go. This game is now.
He's brought down on that last
1
play
second
by
to go.
Mike Santangelo. We've got 1 second to go. So there's time for one more play in this game. The outcome has already been decided. Johnson will win. They will have 34. Will Governor Livingston, on a last-ditch play, add another 6 or 7 points? We'll get a chance to find out as soon as this timeout is over. Bill, most of the fans now are starting to exit on a beautiful day for football, a beautiful day for anything.
Good high school game. Good game. Tough game.
A beautiful day for fly fishing in the reservoir behind us, too.
Yeah.
As we saw somebody
Are
out
you
there.
a fly fisherman?
No, I'm not a fly. Something I would like to learn how to do.
There go the balloons up in the air now.
Celebratory balloons. And on the last play of the game, Petricoro is pressured by Tom Harrington, forces the fumble. Harrington falls on it himself. That seals this one. Once again, the final. Arthur L. Johnson, 34. Governor Livingston, 13. We'll be back right after this with some post-game highlights and interviews with a few of the players and the coach.
Time to send for the federal government's free consumer information catalog from sunny Pueblo, Colorado. Yes, you'll marvel at its helpful information. For a free copy, send your name and address to Free Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. Makes a great gift.
Welcome back to Nolan Field, where the Johnson Crusaders have just polished off the Governor Livingston Highlanders 34-13. With me right now I have Greg Layden. And Greg, you had a big 32-yard touchdown reception early in the first half. Tell me about the play.
Well, I just felt like I had to draw him in on the hitch so I can get the hitching going. I did. He bit on it.
He did. You were wide open. It was an easy touchdown. And then on the next, early again in the first quarter, on the next touchdown, Frank Metzel, a 44-yard run. You had a great downfield block.
Well, the coaches told us all week that we had to run him off because they were playing his man. They just turned and ran with me.
All right, congratulations. Good game today. Good luck the rest of the way. Next, we'll bring in the quarterback of this team, Dan Ludek. Dan's only a junior. You had a good experience going on, a nice young team. Tell me about this team this year and what you guys are looking forward to for next year.
Well, this year we don't have that many seniors, and we pretty much have a junior team, but our seniors contribute a lot. Next year we'll have a pretty big senior team, and we'll be ready to go.
What did you realize coming into this game, Governor Livingston, what you guys could or could not do against them?
Well, I realized we have to, as well as the coaches did, we had to mix up the run and pass and the option. And I feel our coaches made a good game plan with that. And that's just what we did.
Dan threw for 1 touchdown and also ran one in from 2 yards late in the game. A great game. Congratulations and good luck the rest of the way. Next, we're going to bring in the big fullback, Frank Metzel. And Frank, just a great game today, over 100 yards, rushing, 2 touchdowns, and that last one just sealed. The game was already decided, but you did anything you wanted to do today.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without all these guys right around me, coaches and players, So I gave my best. I knew they were giving their best, so,
Well, you notice you mentioned the front five. We were talking about the front five up in the booth, that they were opening the holes, making it easy for yourself, for Rashawn Stovall. Anybody else who wanted to run the ball, the holes were there.
Yeah, they were. They were doing a great job all week in practice. They were just fired up for this game, and they came through for us.
Great game, congratulations, and good luck. And finally, we'll bring in the head coach now, Bob Taylor. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, Rob.
We had talked earlier this week that a lot of the games so far your team has won. You've won some close games, but you've been able to win on big plays, and you certainly got the big plays today.
Well, we're a combination of a big play team and a character team, and I think that's the most important ingredient you look for, especially in the fact that we're a young team. We work hard in practice. We don't waste any time. We come with a business-like attitude, and we played that way today. I'm very pleased with the results that we're getting, and we got great leadership on this team from our seniors and a lot of guys that love the game and play it like it should be played.
And you told us also earlier in the week that this was going to be a combination of running and passing. You're going to look to do both, and you opened up the game with a long pass play for a touchdown, and then the rushing game took over after that.
Well, we want to be a varied offense. We know we can do everything. We've got a lot of great athletes here, and we want to turn them loose on game day. Too often we hold back and worry about the clock, and we turned it loose today. We feel good about it.
I noticed at the end, when the game was over, you got the guys all together, and there was that little "we will not lose again" chant. You guys are going to have to not lose the rest of the way and possibly get some help, and maybe you'll be in the playoffs.
We just got to worry about one team, and that's the one that's standing behind us. And we worry about each other, and we just do the best we can, and things will fall into place for us. We're confident.
Roselle Park and Newark Central coming up on the schedule. What do you think?
2 great games. Roselle Park, we love to play them. It's a great rivalry, and Newark Central, always tough guys. So we got a tough road ahead of us. We got to keep getting better. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, the team looks like it's getting better every week. Congratulations. Good luck in those final 2 games, and maybe we'll see you in the States.
Great to have you guys here.
Thanks.
Okay.
Now we'll bring back in Bill Horry, and Coach, just a good game.
Well,
it's
a good team, and not only a good team, but a team that seemed to have a lot of character. When things weren't going well, they popped right back. They got better week by week, and they seemed to get better as the game went along. And should they make the States, why, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with, because, as I indicated, they've got a lot of character, and that counts in this game,
Yeah, it does. Coach Taylor said it. They've got character. Coach Bill Horry said they've got character. They do. This is an excellent team. They got 2 more games to win. If they do, and they get a little help, you may see them in the state playoffs. Once again, your final: Johnson 34, Governor Livingston 13. That's going to do it from here, from us. Thank you for joining on TV3 Sports. For the coach, Bill Horry, our producer, Steve Shepard, and the entire TV3 crew, I'm Bob Parisi. So long, everyone.